Hello, this is George Senda, the guy from Pittsburgh. And you know, I've always had a thing about animals. I've always liked animals, in some ways better than people, because animals trust you. I've had a deer come up to me and want petting. I've had a cougar come up to me and want petting in the BART station in Lafayette in 1977. I had horses nuzzle me at the racetrack, and I got banned from the rail, and Jack Klugman saw it and broke up laughing and asked me, what am I doing to the horse? I said, Jack, I'm reading the form. You're coming up to me. So I'm in Berkeley today, and I meet this guy who saw the accident. We started talking, and I hear this squawking, and I look around, and on his chest he had a little mesh cage, and he's carrying a parrot in the cage. And I went, wow, what a trip. It was a beautiful green parrot, little parrot, and it was talking away and chirping away and very happy. And I said, what's with the parrot? He said, well, I've had it for 3 years. I rescued it from a rescue place. It had been an abused parrot, and he's 22, and he's very happy. So we started talking about our respective animals we've had, and he tells me about his cat. He had a cat once that wanted to, you know, cats will try to teach you dumb humans how to hunt. Well, one day they're eating dinner, and the cat decides to bring them gifts, and he brought them live mice and dropped a mouse in each dinner plate of everybody sitting at the dinner table, much to the consternation of the diners. And it got me thinking about my cat, Baby Mouse. Now, I rescued Mouse from the BART station on 14th Street in Oakland. Mouse was starving to death. He was skin and bones. He was eating a leaf. So I picked him up. He was very cute. He had a little mouse-like face, all black, very sleek, even though he was, you know, he hadn't eaten for a while. And I put him in my jacket, and I walked home, and there were no this was in the wintertime, there were no buses. I walked home, and I petted him. He said, you're going to be my baby mouse, and I'm going to love you, and reassured him. And he jumped out of my jacket when I got to the garage in my building, and I picked him back up, and I took him up in the elevator and gave him some wet food and dry food. He was very happy. And Mouse used to love to go outside. Now, I had Mouse and Monkey, and later on a cat named Gray. And Mouse and Gray disappeared. Monkey died of cancer. He sat at my feet all night. He went from 14 pounds to 6 pounds. And in the morning, I let him out, and he went off to die, as cats do, and elephants too. I miss him very much. Mouse and Gray disappeared. We think someone killed him. But Mouse loved to go outside. And one thing Mouse would do, he would bring us gifts. Well, one day he brought in a live pigeon. Now, the pigeon was like this big, and Mouse's head is like this big, and we were marveling, how the hell did you get that thing in your mouth, and how did you catch it? And the pigeon had this look in its face and its eyes of, ah, just terrified. And it took us quite some time to get the pigeon out of Mouse's mouth and pick Mouse up. And the pigeon, I guess, was playing dead. It was on the carpet of the door of our patio. We had an enclosed patio. It was open to the air, but it was enclosed by these railings. And the pigeon shook its head, hopped out the door, and took off like a bat out of hell. So the other thing Mouse would do, he would bring us other gifts. One day he brought in a couple of live rats. And it wasn't that they were our rats, but we had a lot of apartments in that building, and some people did not put their garbage in a dumpster for some stupid reason, and so there were rats there. He brought us a couple of rats. I caught one rat. It was dead. The other rat was live, and it escaped into the bedroom, and Kathy had a lot of stuff in the bedroom. We never did find it for about 2 months until one day we found it. It was desiccated like something out of Ancient Aliens, but smelled really bad. So that's the thing with Mouse. Oh, another thing Mouse did, I lived in Santa Rosa with someone for a while, and Mouse is on the lawn one spring, and I noticed Mouse is digging at something in the grass. And what the hell are you doing, Mouse? I walked over to Mouse. Monkey was in the makeshift cat house I'd built out of milk crates and garbage bags and wood, because the person I was staying with was allergic to cats. And Mouse is pulling this thing out of the ground. It looked like a big multicolored rubber band. I go, what the hell is this? So I look at it, and I see it's a king snake. Now, when I was a Boy Scout, I had books on animals and plants and shrubs and stars and trees and molds and all kinds of stuff. So I knew what it was. It wasn't harmful. And I said, baby mouse, leave the snake alone. Well, I got the snake out of Mouse's mouth. He wasn't hurting. It was just trying to get it out of the hole. It got out of the hole all the way, it was about this long, and it slithered back into his hole. Well, Mouse went back and pulled the snake out again. He did that 4 times before I finally managed to pick him up, and I had to put him in my car, and the snake went back into his hole. So that was the adventure there with Mouse. And then I got to thinking of my sister. She would bring home all kinds of animals. It was like a menagerie. Rabbits, squirrels, birds, mice, you name it. Well, one day my sister brings home the surprise. My mother had put her foot down, no more animals. She had them all in cages, and she was feeding them. They were all her babies. My mother's had this carpet that was like really plush and white, almost like a fake sheepskin, but it was so plush you couldn't see anything in the carpet. It was all wonderful, solid white, and not a blemish on it, no dirt, nothing. It was spotless. My mother was walking across the carpet, her bare feet, and suddenly goes, "Ow!" And something punctured her feet. They took her to the hospital, and they gave her a tetanus shot, and she came home with my dad. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know, maybe I was away at military school or something, and they found the thing in the carpet. It was a water moccasin. So my sister brought home a live water moccasin. And then later on, my mother accidentally boiled my sister's fish by turning on the hot water by mistake. And she killed my mice by turning off the heater in the dead of winter, and we lived on Union Street. I was very upset about that. And so that was that adventure. And then I had one other one. We had lived in the house, Tacoma Park, Maryland. I'm out raking the leaves one day, and I knew snakes. And this thing was slithering in the pile of leaves and made a rustling noise. I called my dad over, and he took the hoe and moved the leaves around, and we found a copperhead. And they're poisonous, so he killed it. They're all over Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Delaware, down the south, up the eastern seaboard. And the other thing I did had nothing to do with animals, but it's never do this. I watered the lawn, and the lawn in the front was fresh sod my dad had put down. The back was already there. So I watered the lawn, I'm all wet, and I decided to dry off by going into the rec room. Well, we had a rec room built in the basement. That's where I played my trains and my rifleman set. And half the rec room was paneled and finished, tile, carpeting, chairs. The other half of the rec room was going to be his workshop, and it wasn't finished yet. So I took the electric fan and plugged it in, and I'm all wet. And the next thing I know, I'm suddenly believe a kid can fly. I think it was about 10, maybe 12, I don't remember. And I go all the way across the rec room in one arc, and I hit the wall, and I slide down the wall. And that's it. I'm gone. I'm gone for an hour. I don't know where I was. I don't know if I was dead, alive, unconscious, in a coma, what. But I came back. So do not plug in the electric fan to dry off after you've watered the lawn. This is not a thing you want to do. So that's my adventures with animals. But I still never got my mother to tell me about the water moccasin and the carpet. That always broke me up. And one day I'll talk to my sister and ask her about other adventures with wildlife. All right, this is George Senda, the guy from Pittsburgh. Have a great day, and stay safe out there, and watch what your kids bring home from out in the wild. It may cause problems for you. Bye-bye for now.